All right. So YouTube looks good. Let's get rolling here. Hi. Start live video. All right. So of course, I have to mess with Facebook camera, so that's probably going to mess with the YouTube camera. But hey, this is the way it is, right? Good morning. Good morning. I don't know who's over here on YouTube, but good morning. All right. All right. Hey, Sandy. Good morning, guys. I don't quite have my act together yet, but you know, I don't know why. Some days I'm all on, and then some days it's like, ha ha ha. I'm missing a piece. Something happened. There it is. I think a critter got a hold of my stuff and played with it. Imagine that. Good morning, Therese. All right. We good? All right. So we're just about ready to go. So today I was, this is kind of the kickoff for me anyway, to start my everyday yoga practice. I'd gotten a little bit sloppy. It was a lot easier when I was teaching all the time to stay motivated and to stay on top of it and to play. And while life has gotten busy because I have to work so much more now, it's also gotten me a little bit away from my practice. So I am back. I've promised myself for my 53rd year of life, I will practice yoga every day. So technically, I start today. If you want in on the 5-day challenge, I know some of you guys who are already on have let me know that, and I'll get emails and the Facebook posts up starting tomorrow. Of course, if Sundays are a little weird to start for you, then start Monday, right? I started today. I mean, you know, you could wait till January. Everybody waits till January to make these New Year's resolutions, but you can start any day for any reason, right? If you're lucky enough or young enough that, you know, you woke up today with the first of the little kind of aches and pains that you get as you start to get a little bit older, then that might be your motivation to start today or tomorrow. Right? So whatever the trigger is for you, whether it's January 1st, great, fine, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But pick something that means something for you. I don't want to say nobody follows through with New Year's resolutions, but you know, right? Lots of people don't. So if that doesn't work for you, don't start then, right? I'm actually going to start incorporating better eating, but of course I'm going to wait till after Thanksgiving at least because, hello, I want to eat, and I'm gonna. So let it mean something to you. Set yourself up for success rather than something you tried before that maybe didn't work out so much. Right? So whatever it is for you, if you're in on the challenge, please let me know if I don't already know. I've got a Facebook group and I send out emails every morning as well. 15 minutes of your day into a nice, fairly easy, simple little yoga practice. Whenever you want. You don't have to do it first thing in the morning. I send it out in the morning in case you do. Right? But if you're not a morning person, I hear you, I feel you. Don't practice in the morning, right? You want to get it done. So yeah. And today, since I like to fold and we haven't folded in a while, we're going to get into our hamstrings pretty deeply. So remember, whatever that means to you. If you don't look like the little picture in the book when you're in a certain pose, don't worry about that. Feel the stretch in the hamstrings. We're going to get a little bit of front body opening to balance ourselves. Do what's best for you today. And you could watch this same or practice with this same video, say tomorrow, and have it look totally different, or maybe next week or whatever. So let's go ahead and get started so I can stop yapping a little bit. Bringing the heels to a line here, sitting well, upright on the pelvis, any adjustments that you need. Engage your belly so we sit nice and tall. Go ahead and relax into your shoulders and your hips, closing your eyes. And bringing your mind inward. Begin to notice your breath without necessarily changing it. And gently allow the breath to expand. Finding a place that is just beyond comfortable so that you can maintain that breath throughout your practice. Keeping the mind focused inward on the breath, let's go ahead and extend the arms. And with the next inhale, stretch them up toward the ceiling. Exhaling as you come back down again. We'll do it again like that. Let's go one more time. You can keep your eyes closed here if you'd like. Maintain that nice tall spine. Let's bring the right hand to the left knee and the left hand behind the back. Giving yourself just a gentle, easy twist. Nice full breaths here. We'll release that back through the center and over to the second side. Bring it back through the center, over to your first side again, a little bit deeper with this one. So using the arms, pressing into the floor, pulling against the knee maybe, and then rotating around. Listen to your body. If you're ready to go deeper, go deeper. If you're not so much, don't worry about it. Big full breath. Let's release that back to the middle and take that same idea to the second side, using the arms and winding around. Let's release that, coming back to the middle. And then let's make our way around onto hands and knees. We are going to be here for a little bit, so make sure that your knees and hands are comfortable. If you need to cushion, certainly cushion. So starting off in some cat-cows, inhale the belly toward the floor. And exhale, rounding your spine toward the ceiling. Following the breath in and out. Let's take one more flow like that. And then we'll come back to a center here. So making sure the belly is engaged, supporting the lower back. Let's go ahead and extend the right leg straight back. Heels in line with the hips. We want to press through the heel, rotating the toes toward the floor. And then stretching the left arm forward, reaching away from the body in these different directions. Releasing that side. Let's switch, extending the left leg. And then the right arm when you're ready. Keeping the hips square, the shoulders square, your belly working. Releasing that side back down. Let's go back to that first side again. So extend your right leg and left arm. Get the idea of stretching away from the body, keeping the muscles working, the belly especially here. Go ahead and take the arm over to the left. We're going to bring the leg around to the right, still reaching away in opposite directions. Release the hands to the floor. We're going to take the toes over to the side and come up on the knee. So heel in line with the hip here, belly's working. Stretch the left arm up and we're going to take it over, reaching toward the outside of the right foot, or leg, or wherever your brain says that's going. And then we'll bring it back up to the top again here. Release the hands to the mat. Let's lift the leg out to the side. Hold it there for just a second. And then bring the leg back and take it down. Second side, same idea. Left leg and right arm. When you're ready for it, taking it out to the sides. The idea of stretching away helps hold the balance. We'll release the fingertips back to the mat, take the toes over to the side again here, and come up on the right knee. So aligning, adjusting as you need. Take the right arm up, and we're going over. With an inhale, let's come back up to the top. Release the hands. And then again here, just lift the toes, hold them out to the side. They don't have to be high for it to be work. And then bring the leg back and down into all fours again. So let's extend right leg, left arm one more time. Bending at the knee this time, see about reaching around and finding the foot back there. Pressing the foot into the hand, lifting the toes a little higher, adding what you need. Don't worry about what you don't. It's early. Take another big breath. And then gently release, stretching out long. Coming back to all fours. And make your way to your second side. So keeping the belly engaged really makes a big difference here. Helps with the balance. When you're ready, you find the foot maybe. And add whatever your body wants to add. Take another big breath. And then release, stretching long. And coming back down. So nice and easy here. Go ahead and sit yourself back into a child's pose. Stretching the arms out nice and long. From here, we're gonna make our way into our first down dog. So as always, just kind of get there how you feel like getting there, working and stretching and wiggling. And settling in. Let's lift the right leg, and here we're going to keep the hips square. So extend through your heels. Feel that little extra stretch. Let's step that foot through the hands and come to our lunge. Dropping the back knee. Adjusting the front foot if you need to here. Take your right leg straight. And find your first of many hamstring stretches here. So remember your spine. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Pull them together on your back just a little bit. So as if you were leading with your chest rather than your face or your arms. Let's bend into the knee again and let the hips sink. Lifting up long through your spine here. Let's add a little twist. Why not, right? We're here. Bring the right hand to the hip and rotate around. Release the twist, and you can keep the option of the back knee on the floor if you'd like. Otherwise, lift that knee and then take your right leg straight again. So remember, you can prop here. We want to keep the shoulders away from the ears, together on the back just a little bit. And the hips nice and square. So imagine pressing your right hip back and letting your left hip come forward. Again, if it's too intense here, the left knee's on the floor. And then we'll bend back into the knee. Imagine sweeping the legs toward each other so the hips stay nice and square, and you can stay down on the floor, or you can lift up, climbing up on the thigh, lifting the upper body, lifting the arms if you want to add in arms. Pressing through the back heel. And relax your shoulders. Let's release it back over into the lunge, and we'll step back to our down dog. So then moving to the second side, lift the left leg. Again, keeping the hips square, just press out through your heels here. We'll step the left foot forward. Dropping the knee to the floor, adjusting anything that needs to be adjusted, and then take the left leg straight. Ish, maybe. Aligning the spine, feeling the sensation in the hamstrings. Bend back into the knee, descend into the hips. Keeping the spine long, let's add in that little twist, right, left hand to the hip, rotating around. We'll release the twist and then decide where to take this next straight leg. So maybe the knee stays down, maybe it lifts away. Wherever you're going, make your way there, finding a little bit deeper stretch. Just remember the hip stays square, the spine stays as neutral as possible. We'll bend back into the knee, staying low with the upper body maybe, or climbing up. You decide how up that is, of course. And if the back knee is away from the mat, try and make it straight. Make the leg straight. Let's release it. Step back to our down dog again. And we're gonna lift the right leg again here. But this time let the hip open. So the toes lift a little higher, bending at the knee, pointing it toward the ceiling maybe. Keep the chest pressing back. And then release it all. Back to down dog. Moving to the second side, so lifting the left leg, let the hip open, try and keep the shoulders level. And then we'll release it. From here, drop down to the knees and go ahead and take yourself back to your child's pose. Let's make our way back to down dog. Walking the feet to the hands, come to standing fold. Placing the feet up underneath the hips. And you can have a bend in the knee here. We're just going to kind of walk in place a little bit to begin. Finding a center here. Bend into the knees so that your belly will touch your thighs. However bent that is. Take the arms behind the legs here, wrap around. Hang on to opposite elbow or wrist or whatever it is you grab and squeeze your belly to your thighs, but not your knees together. Let's take the legs straighter. Let your head hang here. Get a nice release all up your spine, down your spine, up your spine. Releasing the arms. You can keep that bend in your knee if you like. Take the fingers, we're going to interlace behind the lower back. Pulling the shoulders toward each other, stretching the knuckles away. So straight down the back or lifting away. Releasing the hands. Let's take the legs straight, sliding the hands up to the thighs and bringing the upper body parallel to the floor. Keep the shoulders back, feeling engaged in the four corners of the feet as much as you can. And then bend back into the knees and sit into a chair here. So hang on if you need to hang on, of course. You can come center with the hands or extend. And imagine dropping deeper into your hips without letting your chest drop. So the upper body stays lifting toward the ceiling as the hips release toward the floor. Inhale as we stretch up toward the ceiling, and exhale to release the arms. All right, so standing nice and tall here. I've done it again. I'm a little too close. So we're going to work into some sun salutes. Remember to follow your breath. Take variations as you need here. We're going to inhale, stretch the arms toward the ceiling, and then exhale, take yourself into fold. With an inhale, come halfway up. And then let's exhale, stepping back into plank. Knees, if you want knees, of course, down to the belly, as controlled as you can. Hands next to the side ribs here as we just roll into our shoulders, little baby cobra. Releasing that, keeping those elbows in, up and back into down dog. Inhale, we'll step forward, fold. Halfway up on an inhale, and then back over. Lifting all the way up for the ceiling. Exhaling as you release. Again, just like that. Inhale. And fold. Halfway up. And into plank. Taking it down. And then inhaling as you roll into your cobra, moving a little bit deeper into the shoulders if you're ready, and then up and back, down dog. Inhaling as you step forward. Coming halfway up. And then back over again. All the way, inhale. Exhale at the top. So of course we'll add on with this next one if you want to add on. Remember, you can skip things. Inhale as you sit into a chair. Exhale into your fold. Halfway up for monkey. Exhaling back to your plank. And dropping down. Rolling into cobra, moving a little bit deeper if and when you're ready. Releasing that as you move up and back into down dog. With the inhale, right foot forward to lunge. Toes to fingers. Drop the back heel or knee. Come all the way up. Release it back down again, stepping back into down dog. Slide forward for plank. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, roll into cobra. Releasing back to down dog. Left foot forward this time, inhale. Heel or knee to the mat and lift. Coming back down again and into down dog. Slide it forward for plank. And drop down. Cobra. And then back to down dog. So holding your down dog or dropping into child's pose, you decide. Nice easy breaths wherever you're going to be. One more breath here. Lifting back to down dog if you did drop down. And then inhaling as you step the feet forward into fold again. Halfway up. Exhale back over. Inhaling into your chair. And then exhale to release it to the top. All right, so let's go ahead and take a short step back with the right foot. Working into warrior one here. So 4 corners of the feet, bending into the left knee. Feeling even on those feet, square through the hips. You can leave your hands maybe at your hips or extend, reaching toward the ceiling. So from warrior one here, we're going to open into warrior two. Arms come parallel to the floor, left arm over left leg. Opening the back foot, because now here the hips are a little open, or maybe a lot, depending on where you are. So checking out and just adjusting your feet as you need to. Left toes still point toward the top of the mat. Feeling even on the 4 corners of the feet. Maybe dropping a little deeper to your hips. Let's bring the right hand to the back of the thigh here. Left palm turns toward the ceiling. We're gonna reach up and then see about dropping this left shoulder back. So the chest turns toward the ceiling a little bit. The hips are still open to the side. Big full breaths. Let's release that back to warrior two. Bend the left elbow, rest it on the thigh, and bring the right arm up and over the ear. Stretching through your fingertips, drawing the right shoulder back, maybe looking toward the ceiling. Still even into the feet. Let's release it over into lunge. Come up on the back toes. So you can leave this stance really wide if you want. You can hop in or drop the back knee, of course, if you need. Take the left leg straight again. And then add something that makes it a little bit of a challenge. So maybe here you flex your foot back. You can leave the foot flat, walk the hands back. Any little variation that feels like an extra little stretch for you. If you still have extra, you might be done, right? So we'll bend back into the knee. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hop the right toes in a little, or a lot maybe. Taking all the weight over into this left foot, we're gonna lift the right foot. So we wanna keep the hips square here like we started, pressing through the right heel. And then if you wanna lift your hands up, you can. Maybe one, maybe none, maybe two. Lifting the upper body parallel to the floor. Working toward our warrior three here. So from the crown of your head through that right heel, you could be standing up, right? Maybe, kind of. Take one more breath. And then release, come into fold. Let yourself hang out for a second. So maybe a little bend in your knees here. You can grab opposite elbow, sway side to side. Release anything that maybe needs to be released. And then bending into the knees, let's roll up through the spine, back to standing. And we'll move to our second side. So that short step back with the left foot. So adjusting the feet until you feel pretty even here. The more the back toes come in, the more square the hips can be, without stressing out the knee, of course. And then when you're ready, extending the arms if you want to extend the arms. Look up if you want to look up. Try and relax your shoulders. And from warrior one into warrior two. So opening the arms. Take the feet a little wider, turning those left toes out. Making any other adjustments that you need with your feet. We'll take the left hand to the back of the thigh, right palm turns up. We reach up, but then drop the right shoulder back down. Making your way back into warrior two, right in the middle again. Bend the right arm, rest it on the thigh, bringing the left arm up and over the ear. And again here, just descending into the hips, staying open to the side of the mat. releasing it over into your lunge again. So same idea on this side, whether you stay a little wide, come in a little more narrow, drop the knee to the floor, wherever you need to be. When you're ready, the right leg is straight, and we're intensifying that stretch with whatever little trick you use. And each side can be different. This side could be much deeper than the first, so you can add something different. See what happens. Releasing that, bend back into the knee. Hop the back toes in, or a little, or as much as you need, really. When you're ready for it, lifting the left foot away from the floor. Squaring up the hips, flexing the left foot. Press through that heel. And then if you're adding the upper body, maybe just one hand up off the floor. Maybe you even come to fingertips on the other hand first. When you're convinced that they can both lift, maybe lift. Again here, the crown of the head to the back heel, the left heel. The body is as if you were standing. The arms are where you need the arms to be. Take another big breath. Release it over into fold again. Taking just that little second, kind of wiggling it out, shaking, shifting, releasing the spine, whatever you need here, just kind of release it all. Let's go ahead and step back to our down dog. And go ahead and drop yourself down into child's pose, taking just a little mini break kind of in between. Checking out, make sure everybody's good. Remember, holler if you have questions. Hey, Lindy. So back to down dog. Let's step the left foot forward and come into a lunge. From this lunge here, walk the hands around and come to a straddle fold. So if your feet are too wide or too narrow, make the adjustments. Toes are pointing toward the side of the mat, so your feet are parallel to each other. Let's take the hands shoulder width apart, flat to the floor. So if you need to have your knees bent, bend your knees. They're going to stay shoulder width apart, but maybe slide back so the tips of your fingers line up with the tips of your toes. Maybe. So the place between your hands is for the crown of your head. That might not be anything like reality today, but in your brain, put that in your brain and just kind of leave it there for a minute. And check in. Is that really far? Or is that maybe not that bad? So releasing the hands, bend the knees, of course, if you need here. Index and middle fingers are going to wrap around the big toes. Stay even on your feet so we don't lean the hips back. We want to bend the elbows out to the side. So even if the knees have to stay bent here, you can pull on the toes and imagine dragging your belly button between your thighs. Not really how it works, but it's a good visual. Release your toes and take your fingers to interlace behind your lower back. We're pulling the shoulders together just like we did earlier, stretching the knuckles away. And then release the fingertips back to the floor. So here, hopefully you have a little bit of space. Hopefully there's a little bit of space in front of you here. We're going to take the hands, walk them forward, and let the hips come down more than you would in plank. So we're up on the toes, sink into your hips here. You can bend your elbows and fancy stuff if you want to. You don't have to, though. Take the hands and walk them back, lifting back into your straddle fold. Let's do that again. Forward. Let the hips come down. And then we'll go back. One more time like that. Walking back into the straddle. Finding that center. And then instead of walking forward, we're going to take the fingers, turn it behind, keep even on your feet, and walk the hands back. Wherever back is. Maybe it's just between your feet, and that's a good thing. So wherever you get, pull against the floor, bending into the elbows, and again here, kind of pulling your belly button between your thighs. Where are you now with the head in relationship to that spot on the floor? Closer. So let's release that, bringing the hands back in. We're going to walk the hands around toward the left foot, lunging back toward the top of the mat. Go ahead and bend your knee. And I should have cued blocks here. So if you have a block, you can use it here. Wherever, start walking your left foot forward. And you're going to keep walking your left foot forward until it won't go any further forward. So if you have blocks, again, you can walk here up underneath the thigh, maybe up underneath your hands, lifting your upper body as vertical as you can. So here, imagine pulling your legs toward each other. Let the back leg get as much of a stretch as the front leg gets. Obviously, not your hamstring back here so much, but you get the idea. Taking one more breath. And then working that foot back in. So you might be able to pick that foot up and just place it back or not. So wiggle, wiggle, wiggle until it's back into place. We're going to lift the right knee. Take the hands around. Back to straddle. And then you get to do the same thing on the second side. So walking your hands around towards your right foot. Lunging to the back. Drop the knee. And then start walking the right foot forward. Wherever it goes. Same idea on this side. Prop if you need to prop. It may not feel anything like the other side. And then we'll work our way back into the lunge again. Come up off the left knee and walk the hands back into your straddle. So place your hands where we started, shoulder width apart, flat to the floor, toes in line with the, fingers in line with the toes-ish. Look at that spot for your head. Is it closer? Release all of that. Walk your hands back around to the front, lunging to the top, and stepping back to your down dog again. Dropping down to the knees, give yourself a little break in a child's pose. Where did you get? Everything feel good? Take one more breath here. And then we're going to put a little bit of that together. So lift yourself back into a down dog. And from down dog, step forward into fold. So the knees can be bent if you need the knees bent, not a big deal. Fingertips to the floor. So if you need bent knees, have bent knees. Shift the weight over into the left foot. Lift the right leg back behind you. And we're going to lift those toes as high as they will go. So in your head, you're doing that split again here, right? The hips don't have to be square. Let them open if they open. Stay focused on this left foot. See if you can take one hand off the floor And maybe grab your ankle or your calf, whatever it is that you have here, your left ankle or calf. And then maybe you don't really need the other hand on the floor either. And instead of looking like a capital T like we do in Warrior 3, maybe you look like an I or an L, a lowercase L. Take a big breath and then release all of that back to your fold. Just like before, let yourself hang. Maybe bend the knees, grab opposite elbow. And then you gotta go second side, right? All the way over to the right, lift the left leg as high as it can lift. And then you decide if both hands stay on the floor, if one hand stays on the floor, if no hands stay on the floor. And then release that side. Hang for a second. We'll step back to our down dog again. And then one last child's pose. Can we just sit up on the heels for a second? Let's bring the legs around front. So hopefully your hamstrings feel nice and long by now, right? So flex your feet, toes point at the ceiling. Make sure you feel upright on your pelvis. Check in, adjust if you need to adjust, of course. Engage the belly, sit tall. Let's lift the arms. I'm going to fold forward. Remember to just let your hands fall. Maybe you touch your toes and maybe you still don't, and that's all right. So we're going to give it just a little more juice though. See what happens. Maybe you're already at your limit and don't worry about it if it ever looks any different. Right? Maybe you still got a little left. So if you need to bend your knees, definitely bend your knees. We're going to take the fingers and wrap them around the outside of the foot. The thumb presses down on the big toe knuckle, the base of the big toe there. Okay? So we want to press out with our thumbs and pull back toward our face with the fingers. Right? So maybe the feet are even a little bit more exaggerated than when we stand. Maybe. Don't go crazy, but you know, if it's a little bit more than normal, don't worry about it. So keep that. Imagine pushing out with your big toe. Pull against your feet. Can you find some space in your spine? How about bending the elbows out to the sides, even if your knees are bent? If you can gently take them a little straighter, maybe that works. And imagine pulling your chest towards your toes. And hopefully you're still feeling some sort of difference, some sort of stretch. Let's release that. Nice and easy roll up through your spine here. Sitting tall again. Bring the soles of the feet together. Letting the heels come in, hanging onto the ankles. You can use your elbows at your inner thigh here. And see about hinging forward, belly button to heels. Let's hinge back up to a neutral place here. You may have to scoot forward if you're far back on your mat. We're going to pick up the feet, leaning back and balancing. And then C-curve the spine and roll down to your back. you need to adjust on your mat, certainly do. Once you're there, keep the soles of the feet together, but let them come to the floor and release your knees out to the sides. Relax your belly and your inner hip. Bringing the knees back together. We're going to lift into a gentle bridge just to re-stretch and grow our hip flexors here. So your feet roughly hip bone distance apart, pretty close to the hips, not quite touching. Arms nice and tight down the sides. Make sure your head and neck stay comfortable as you press down into your triceps. Pull your heels towards your hips and lift your hips away from the floor. Don't worry about high necessarily. Again, we're going to stretch the front of the thighs here. Hip flexors. That's a lot of folding. We want to give the opposite muscles a chance. We'll take one more breath and then release it on down. Holding the feet flat for just another breath or two. And then let your knees draw in and rock a little bit. So they can be a little closer to the chest or further away. Rock side to side or roll in circles. Maybe even up and down your spine like we did last week if that felt good. We'll take the feet flat to the floor. Opening the arms out into a T position here. Shifting the hips over to the left edge of your mat. Drop your knees over to the right. Check in with the spine. Maybe look over the left hand if you want. And you're welcome to leave the knees bent. But if you want to add on here, you can take your left leg or maybe both legs straight, bringing your toes over toward your right hand. And maybe they touch and maybe they don't quite. And you have the option here of working a little bit deeper. So kind of pressing through the left heel and stretching through the right left fingertips. Or you can just really relax into it. The knees can be bent even. Something in between maybe. Let's take another nice big breath. If you took your legs straight, bend them again and make your way back up to the middle. Switching sides here, shift the hips right, let the legs fall left. Same idea on this side, just making sure the spine feels long and neutral. Resting more or working harder into the twist. Choosing to leave the knees bent or taking one or both legs straight. Let's take another nice big breath on this side. And then bend back at the knees and come back to the middle. Gently drawing the knees back into the chest, rocking again here. And squeeze in. Hug your knees in as tight as they can get. Pull your forehead towards your knees, round through your spine. And release into a full body stretch. Engage every muscle. And then release. Let the arms come back down by your sides. Making your body comfortable, whatever that looks like, whether the legs are extended, the feet flat. You come to a seated position. And once the body is ready, allow the awareness to move solely toward the breath again. Just like we started, observing without controlling. Keeping the focus on the breath. Keeping the mind present and quiet. Slowly draw in a deep, cleansing breath, and then let it all go. Allow your body to gradually wiggle, move, and stretch. When you're ready, gently making your way back up to a seated position. Sitting well, bringing the palms to touch. Bowing to the light within. Namaste. Thanks, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope your legs feel like ridiculously long. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate them. The 5-day 15-minute challenge does start tomorrow. Your 5th day will be Thursday, if that's the pattern you're going to follow. Thursday morning, because it's Thanksgiving, I'll do, I'm not sure. I'm tossing around, keeping it 15 minutes, but it'll probably be more likely 30. So it's not a giant time investment. I know that's a busy morning for many of us. But it's a really good way to start your day, especially if it is going to be a little crazy or hectic. So I hope to see you then. If not, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy your weekend. Maybe we'll see the sun at some point. Thanks, you guys. Love you all. Bye.